You have reached the latest episode of The Uglee Truth. Producer Deb is sitting in for a sick Paula today, so we have a State of the Union on the show. We talk a little bit about my new obsession with The Bachelor, and it's story time. We're talking about stories of door-to-door salesmen, how we learned how to drive, and some ugly and awkward moments that you don't want to miss. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
I'm a sucker for young men.
Paula?
You don't want to be a whore in your 40s?
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Uglee Truth.
Welcome to the Uglee Truth. This is episode 447. We are not Sisters Who Podcast today.
We're Spouses Who Podcast.
We are spouses. What is it? Say your chips.
I'm Chips.
And I'm Salsa. That's so dumb. Why do we do that? I don't even get it. Welcome to the Uglee Truth. This is Jamie, and I am here with the most important person, producer Dub.
Why am I the most important?
Because if you didn't produce, there'd be no show.
I almost didn't produce the last episode somehow. Screwed up, made it expire, so the episode disappeared like hours after I put it up. It's fixed now. You wouldn't even know if I hadn't just told you.
Well,
hopefully.
The deal is this. We get what we pay for.
Yes.
And there you go. Although I pay.
Free. That's true.
I pay.
True.
Anyway, so yes, producer Deb is sitting in for Paula this week because she is kind of sick. Not the coronavirus. When she told me, she's like, I don't think I can do it today. And I'm like, is it the coronavirus?
You have to whisper it.
Is it the yeah, just like in St. Elmo's Fire. Cancer. Yeah. Diabetes. No.
It's not the beatus.
It's not the corona. It is not. It was migraine hell, which in this family, genetically speaking, we all get them. I have not had a migraine in a few months.
Knock on something, Jesus.
Because, and I really believe this, I'm drying up. For starters, but I'm taking an incredible regimen of supplements. As you know,
Sups.
I sup every single day. I'm taking magnesium and peppermint oil and vitamin B complex.
I need a forklift to hand you your vitamins.
What else? Dim. I'm taking something called Dim. Like I need anything that's called Dim in my life.
You're taking the same thing I'm taking, which is frozen
Omegas.
Fish oil for the cholesterol, and it works great, and it's better if you freeze it, apparently.
Okay, so this is the geriatric version of the podcast today, The Uglee Truth, of oldness.
Well,
what
when
happens
else
when you get old?
You think you're going to get to talk about vitamins with Paula?
Paula wouldn't touch a vitamin.
Exactly.
Her life depended on it. She can't even go into Trader
This
Joe's.
is hard-hitting content.
Right. Anyway, so how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
How is
wine in hand.
How is producing The Uglee Truth going?
It's going okay. I think that you guys talk forever, and that's okay. It's really funny. That's all I care about. I'm getting the face.
Yes.
No, it's great. I actually was laughing out loud quite a bit at the last episode. So
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. So anyway, State of the Union, anything we need our listeners to know before we move forward? Since you're here seriously?
We're very, very close to, ever since we got what we would call through the probationary period, which was the kind of the first 15 episodes or so. We took a look today, and since we got through that period and we moved to an official server and had a website and did all this stuff, we are about to hit 300,000 downloads.
300,000 downloads. That's insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like, you know, it may not feel like a lot after 6 or 7 years when Rogan probably gets that in a day, but that's okay.
Well, here's the deal. For all of, I think, almost 6 years of the 7, we were doing one show a week.
Yeah.
Now we're doing 2 a week. So
It's picked up. Well, and the other thing that may be even more interesting to you is that we're even closer to 100,000 unique downloads, which means 100,000 different people have listened to this show.
That's good.
Yes.
It's not good enough.
I know.
Not
I
for
know.
me.
I
I was very disappointed with the number, but that just means that listeners have some work to do.
You guys aren't telling your friends
You're
like I asked you to.
You're not telling people. You're not sharing the show. This is imperative. You have your homework, ladies.
This isn't like your favorite fishing spot or your
We're not your favorite secret.
Yes.
You
Tell
have to share
everybody.
people. You have to share us. All right, moving on. So we are actually recording on the evening of the season finale of The Bachelor.
It's going on as we speak, is it not?
Well, East Coast feed is come and gone.
Well, whatever.
And because I have no patience, I watched the whole thing. I mean, I saw Twitter going insane. So I got a gist of what happened.
Okay.
Now you somehow actually started watching Bachelor in Paradise with me last summer.
Yes, a.k.a. the shit show.
And then I decided that this would be the year that I would start watching The Bachelor to see if I would like it. I hate it. I hate everything about it, and I refuse to turn it off. I watch it with full hatred every single week. I hate it, but I can't stop watching it, and I don't understand. I wish someone in media could explain it to me as to why I am not an addictive person. Is it because I think I'm better than these people? I don't understand. I was telling Paula that what I think it is when I watch pageant shows, it's that same harsh critique of humanity, and I wonder if that's what it is.
I feel like this is way worse because it's pretty hard. Like, even when I watch you guys watch or chat about the pageant shows, you're not really like, it's about the dress or maybe her voice or her talent was stupid or, it's things like that. But with this, it is all about the person. There's
just no redemption at all, man. These people,
awful people.
Some of the ladies, actually, I don't hate a lot of the ladies. I do enjoy their perspective on life because they're strong young women. They really are. There's a couple that are big babies. Don't like those. But the closer you get...
Are they, though? Aren't they just showmen, like, at the end of the day? These are professional bachelors and bachelorettes. Most of them have been on multiple shows. They've been on multiple seasons.
Oh, no. These are all new ladies.
Well, these are, but I'm just saying, like Bachelor in Paradise, there were people on there that had been in this show 4 times.
My point is this. Tonight was the season finale, and you have some idea of what's going on.
I do.
Because I don't know why you watch it.
Well,
I don't know why you watch it with me.
I probably
it's really
just
weird.
play on my phone and kind of listen. There's there's tiny bits of content I definitely could not get through if we weren't recording and skipping. I mean, like
oh my God. I do fast forward quite a bit. There's a lot of brooding. There's a lot of scenes of him staring off into space.
Like last night was really funny because so last night would have been part 1 of the 2-night finale or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we're watching and the 2 break up in the desert, right? Essentially. Well, I don't know if they actually break up, but they kind of say they're... Of course they didn't. Mm-hmm. You know why, right? I have my theory, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Ooh.
But break up, and I swear to God, the piano played for so long with no voice, nobody saying anything, and I started imitating like I was the piano player.
Oh,
like,
that's right.
Duh,
actually...
da-na-na-na. Duh.
It might have been a little bit sadder, except that there was the enormous amount of flies that they were swatting away as they were saying, "I do love you, but I just can't do this. We're so different." And it's like the whole time, and it's like, if that had been me, to be like, "Okay, what the fuck is with the flies?"
I would have stopped.
Can we please go in the car and
finish
this idea of breaking up for now because I can't with the bugs. Okay,
Bachelor bugs.
This is Australia. They could be poisonous. You don't know.
They're tsetse flies.
There could be a hyena watching, thinking that they're dying. Vultures can fly around and go, there's a lot of flies around those things. Let's go see what that is.
A dingo ate your baby.
I can't with it. I couldn't with it. So,
let me tell you my theory.
Okay.
So, and you've heard me say this before, but for those of you who watch Chopped, there are just some things. First of all, they edit the show in a certain way that when they do the little commentary solo in the room, I forget what they call that, but it's when they go in the room and
testimonials.
They do them on Bachelor too. So they go into the room and they kind of doing their own play-by-play. And if they do things like, "Oh, I am so winning," that person's getting chopped, right?
Yes.
So this whole time
Classic.
yesterday, when they're breaking up and it's got to be over, and the parents hate her and all this kind of stuff, it's like, oh, she's the fucking one.
She's the one.
She's absolutely going to be the one.
To her. Yes.
It's just too obvious.
Yes.
You know what it is? We're all, and I'm not even sure this is proper use of the word.
What?
We're all troglodytes. All of us. We're just sucked in and hate ourselves.
Here's my theory on why we love shows like this. In general, half the population is miserable in this country. half
think
the
you're
population.
being conservative.
So not yet, but we need distraction from reality.
Sure.
And this is the most edited, heavily scripted thing I've ever seen in my life. I know it. I am not a troglodyte. I'm well aware what this is. It doesn't even matter. I still want to watch it. Everybody's pretty. The place, although I hated every single place they went to, everything looked dirty and mildewy and gross.
I will tell you, Paradise was way better than this.
Well, yeah, they're in
Paradise
Mexico,
was,
and
no,
they were
it doesn't.
drinking a lot.
It was just, there's so much more drama and dynamic when there's multiples of both sexes than there is with one guy who's a complete and total loser, by the way.
The main Peter?
Oh, he's awful.
Oh, he's the worst.
He's
okay,
awful.
You want to know why he's awful?
And who was his cosmetic surgeon? That scar looks way shittier. I don't care what the fuck happened to you. Somebody could have done a better job than that.
I think he was going for the Harry Potter look.
Whatever.
Personally.
It's distracting. He looks like he had
especially
surgery.
When he's sweaty, it's very distracting.
Anyway.
I don't know if I can do another Bachelor, but now, of course, I have to watch The Bachelorette to see.
Because she's from here.
Well, no, that's not why. I want to
Sacramento.
know what it's like with a bunch of dudes clamoring for a girl. Like, what is that? And how do they make that not, like, creepy and gross?
Or boring.
I mean, I've never seen The Bachelorette, but can I assume that she always has a Chris Harrison or some kind of male escort when she's surrounded by
I don't know.
all these guys? Because that seems unsafe. I mean, that just seems weird. No offense, but men can get a mob mentality real quick when there's a hot chick in the room. And I just was like, I don't know. I've never watched. I have no idea. But there's no way she goes on quote unquote group dates with 7 dudes and no escort. There's just no way. So I will be watching it. I am curious. Yes, the Sacramento factor is key, but I am curious to see what it's like with a bunch of guys. But what's the drama? Are they allowed to have fist fights? Because that's how guys work shit out, right? They can't be like manipulating and talking shit because that's what girls do. They're not going to cry.
I don't know.
So anyway.
You'll have to see, and I'll probably end up sitting next to you while you do it.
And whenever they do something dumb, I'll look at you and go, you men.
That'll happen a lot.
Always.
It happens now, and there's only one of them. Imagine when there's 20.
No, the reason that Peter sucks is he's so indecisive. He doesn't know how to make up his mind. It's shocking that he's an actual pilot. Like, how did he get through that? It's crazy. I have no respect for men who can't make a decision to save their life. It really bothers me. But I don't have to marry him, and I don't have to date him.
Yeah, I don't.
So there you go.
Yeah, it's not. No, I don't know. I don't know how well, the Paradise thing sucked me in because I guarantee you, if I had seen this before Paradise, I wouldn't be watching.
Bachelor in Paradise is super fun.
That was some shit.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Anyway.
All right, moving on. No more trash talk about The Bachelor and those poor people who are now super rich influencers on Instagram.
Whatever.
Although I did see one of the chicks. Okay, so I shop at lulus.com, which is that clothing outlet or whatever online store.
One of the many boxes we get.
Yes. And Michaela, I think that was her, McKenna. She was like a 21-year-old. She's a model. She freaking models on that stupid play. I'm like, what?
Of course it is. They're all like that. They're professionals.
Yes, and she has a tongue problem. She's going to be on Bachelor in Paradise.
I'm sorry, a what?
A tongue.
Like she can't speak?
She licks her lips and sticks her tongue out a lot. And I thought, is she on some kind of medication that makes her do that involuntarily?
Like the dude in Harry Potter?
It's like blah, 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 all the time. It's really, she licks her mouth and her mouth is open all the time. And I'm like, girl, get off the drugs. I don't know what's happening. You're having an interaction with your alcohol.
Maybe some guys like it.
I will show you it, and you will not find it sexy. It is not a sexy tongue thing.
Slobbering McKenna.
She looks like she's having some kind of seizure.
Oh.
It's not good.
Maybe she is.
Oh, God, I don't know. All right, moving on.
Okay.
So the other day, our mutual friend posted that a solicitor or a canvasser came to their door and did the ding, 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 ding.
Oh, shaving a haircut.
Yeah, and he said it was a canvasser. Would anyone other than a friend knock on your door like that?
Usually not. No. I'm kind of shocked. Like people knock anymore. Like usually it's doorbell, but still, I don't care what kind of knock. You're getting cameraed on in my door, but
for sure,
I'm looking
for
at the camera. But
yeah,
it is. But it is definitely You're not expecting a complete stranger if somebody were to do that.
Right. So it reminded me, and I told him of the time, I gave him a brief overview about the time that I hugged someone that came to the door. And I've been given plenty of garbage about that.
Not just a gangster.
Yeah, he was a gangster. So he was selling. This was when we first moved into this house.
Yeah.
And this is a fairly nice neighborhood. And we are probably...
Certainly an upgrade from where we were. Yes.
We're probably the trashiest people in this neighborhood. We're not white trash, but we're definitely not...
Our sprinklers don't work.
We aren't upper echelon, like a lot of the people who may have lived here when we lived here or when we moved in.
Sure.
So the doorbell rings and I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's a neighbor or whatever, because there was a welcoming committee when we got here. So I thought maybe they're just here to invite me to some kind of barbecue. So I open up the door.
Some kind of barbecue.
And it is a young man who's probably in his early 20s with a tattoo of a teardrop under his eye.
He killed somebody.
And he was a thin man, and he was selling this orange cleaning product.
This organic, powerful chemical thing.
Here's the thing. I have purchased this product from somebody else many years ago who also was thuggish at another house.
Thuggish.
And she even showed me how organic it was by putting it in her mouth and drinking it.
What?
And I was sold, so I bought it.
Did you drink it?
No, but it worked. So I bought it.
Wow.
And so he shows up at the door and he's like, hi, I'm selling this orange, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally know this product because I bet your sister sold this to me many years ago. And
you make this shit in your backyard.
So he's talking and he wants to come in and show me on the carpet. And I'm like, oh, well, we don't have carpet. We only have tile. He's like, oh, I can do it on the tile. And I'm like, okay, this is how people are killed if you let people into your home. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to let you in. But I'm a sucker for young men who are...
Teardrop tattoos who show up at your door and have been in prison before?
Yes.
Okay.
Just trying to make their way, make an honest living.
Really?
So he said...
Honest living?
He said, it's $40. And I said, well, I don't have any cash. And he goes, well, I'll take a check. And I said, all right.
Check!
I said, I'll write you a check. So I wrote him a check. And here's the thing. I don't do superficial talk. I don't do small talk. So I'm just like, so where are you from? How you been? What you doing? I've never seen you around here before. And he's like, oh, well, I travel, blah, blah, blah.
From jail to jail.
And he's from Oklahoma. He's an orphan because his family was killed in a fire.
Of course they were.
Including his sister. Of course. And I believed him. And I felt terrible for him. So I gave him the check.
You felt terrible for him or for believing him?
Both. I don't know why I was so sucked in. And so I gave him the check. He gave me the bottle that he was selling to me. And he was telling me about some of his travels, about where he's been and where he's going. And I don't know why, and I don't know what happened, but we embraced and we hugged.
What if he had the coronavirus?
He left. And then I actually, for whatever reason, was going to go after him again.
What?
Because I felt like he needed help. And he was gone. Gone. Like,
yeah, because the van picked him up.
Out of thin air, gone. And of course, I've never lived this down my whole life since this happened 7 years ago because of the danger. I think I might have saved my own life by being so kind. Honestly, I think he could have shanked me and he didn't because I was so nice.
Could have shanked you.
I really do. I really believe that if he was going to rob me, he changed his mind because I was so nice. He goes, you're so nice. And then he was gone. And I really believe that if he was going to rob me, he would have.
What if he was an angel?
Well, I would think that, but I'm the only one because I thought he was an angel. And I even looked for him later and he was nowhere to be found. I know I'm naive. I realize I can be gullible, but there was just something about him. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I was taken, but we still have the orange stuff and it works.
We do. 7 years later, we've only used it a handful of times, but it does work. And
yes.
It would be...
So I lost $40, but that's okay.
I would love to sit here and judge you harshly. And I did at the time because I was worried about your safety and just was like, please don't do that again because nobody else was home. Not that you're helpless or anything, but still. However, I too have had a similar situation.
Yes, I know.
There was one thing that made it better, which was I didn't hug anyone.
No.
But what made it worse is the house was full of people and they all had to hear me just completely succumb to this magazine salesperson. Which, by the way,
that's the worst part.
Yeah,
it's not the $200 that you gave him. Oh, yes, it was.
No, it was $100.
It was $200, and it was
not $200.
You bought $200 worth of magazine.
It was
magazine
not $200.
Subscriptions, and we've never ever received one.
There's not even $200 worth of magazines on that sheet. But it was more money than it should have been, and I too felt sorry for the person.
Why?
Was not fully expecting the magazines or anything like that.
Did he give you a sob story?
Of course he did.
What did he say? Was his family killed in Oklahoma in a fire?
That would be funny, actually. Not funny because if it actually happened, but
I just remember
funny that they all use the same story.
I literally remember coming out and saying, "What is going on out here?" And you're like, "I got this.
I got this.
I got this."
That was before the orange. Because we were still at the other house when that happened. We weren't here.
All right. No, it was here. It was here. And
Are you
so
sure?
I'm like, okay. And I'm on the phone. I'm like, the fool is giving away everything. We're going to have everything taken from us. This guy is going to own our house. It's over.
It was dumb. We all do dumb things.
Yes. But we have to stop doing that. We can't feel sorry for people anymore. These vagabonds are going to take advantage of us over and over again if we don't knock it off.
Well, we've made it easier on ourselves because we just look at the camera now. We literally don't answer the door for anybody.
We don't even open the door for Girl Scouts. I mean,
actually, there is one.
What?
And that's when it's alcohol and we have to sign for it.
Yeah, the UPS driver definitely
when
gets
the delivery
attention.
Yeah, when the delivery driver comes and isn't just a drop and ring and go. It's actually you have to sign for this. Then we come to the door for
I would
sure.
like to say that us giving humanity an opportunity to show themselves as decent isn't the worst quality.
It's,
I'm not that jaded yet, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. Same thing with The Bachelor. I don't understand myself. It's so bizarre because I'm such a bitch. I don't like anybody. I mean, the people that I like, they know it.
Yeah.
If I don't tell you, you know I don't like you. I don't have any patience. It's very strange to me.
You definitely have your soft spots though.
Yeah, as long as they have a teardrop tattooed on their
Apparently
face. I mean, that's all it takes. Dude, I
should get one.
Go ahead. I'd like to see you try. I'd like to see you do that. You know I have a thing for Post Malone, so I mean, you might as well.
It's a start.
It's something. Right? It's something. Poor little Post.
Greasy bohunk.
Well, he's struggling apparently, so
yeah,
you never know. Yeah. I don't know, but
I'm sure you would. I'm sure if he came to the door and his music career was over, and
I'd give him $40.
He was selling something. You'd give him $40 and
I'd be like, "Oh, little Post, come here, give me a hug."
$40 hugs for everyone.
Come here and let me give you some comfort.
They're not free hugs. They're $40 hugs.
$40. I'll do it. Like, do you need to touch up your tattoos? They're fading. You poor thing.
Stop it.
That's so funny. It's so funny, and it's true.
Yeah.
All right. So this is obviously a bit of an abridged episode because...
because I can't... apparently I can't banter like you and your sister can.
Would you like to try?
I don't know. Give me something to banter about.
When did you learn how to drive?
I definitely... It was 15, unlike our children who didn't learn until they were...
Did anybody ever try to get you to drive before legally, or do you have like rule following family?
I probably tried once or twice when I was younger, just because with my dad. But but I think I just did the real stereotypical back in the 80s kind of thing. Like you get your permit.
Back in the day, didn't our
6 months.
Your parents would put you on their lap and they would let you steer while they drove?
Oh yeah, when I was little, definitely.
Nobody does that anymore.
Oh God, no.
Can you imagine?
No.
It'd be so fun. I don't know. Actually, I did do it. I did do that with our children.
Well, I mean, it's not. Well, you're a really good. You taught the kids really well how to drive. They're all really good drivers.
So did you have driver's ed in high school?
Mm-hmm. Not in the car though. I had to pay for that. Like our school didn't have that. I had my we did the driver's ed like in the book at school, but we had to pay separately to do the driver training part, and that was all. You get your permit, you do the whole thing, and then you have to have a certain number of hours behind the wheel. I do remember the guy that did it. The one thing I remember most about my driving lesson was he kept when I would change lanes or get on the freeway, he kept making me go faster. Because it was like, no, you have to speed up to get in front of this car. So I've never forgotten that. I practiced a lot on the streets of Vallejo. Probably streets I probably wouldn't go to now.
It's really interesting because I hate how you drive so incredibly much.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of yours either.
Oh, please.
Oh, please what?
Please. I'm an amazing driver.
Okay.
I am.
Yeah, brakes love you.
Brakes?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Because you wait till the last minute to hit them.
No!
Yes.
Oh my God!
You hit them hard. You do not gradually hit your brakes.
Projecting much. You are the king of slamming on brakes at the end. I literally feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, you freak out if I get within 100 feet of a car.
No.
Yes, you do. Anyway, so I practiced driving, and then the only other thing I really remember was that I was very nervous taking my driver's actual DMV test.
What a shock.
But not because of the driving part, but because my dad let me use his wife's Mustang. Mm-hmm. So, and it was the first time I had driven it. Maybe I drove it like the day before or something like that to get used to it. But what was throwing me off is, and you may remember this, so it's probably an 80s kind of, not nearly as cool as your Mustang. And it had the metal velours on the back window.
Yes.
Like almost like blinds.
You can't see anything.
And you can't see shit.
That's like Celica's used to have those too.
Not okay. Anyway, so and I took the test, I passed, and I got licensed on my 16th birthday, blah, 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 all the kind of normal stuff. But anyway. So you had someone pay to teach you how to drive? I had to because they didn't offer it at school.
So that is not how we do it in Orangevale. All right? At least not where I'm from.
Listen, there's probably not a lot of priests who should be teaching kids how to drive one-on-one, just saying.
I was 14, and...
Why were you 14?
My dad decided that I needed to learn how to drive.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the school did it at 14.
No.
Okay.
So he had a shop in the bowels of Orangevale, and we drove all the way down to the other side. There's this one road that starts, you can turn on Main Avenue, you can turn onto this road and go all the way to Hazel Avenue.
Oh,
it's
right.
this long ass road.
Right. Straight.
Stop
signs though, right?
Stop sign and one big hill going up or down right by the junior high.
Right.
So he's like, all right. So he drove me all the way. He's like, pay attention. This is a stick shift truck.
Oh, that I did not do.
So he's like, pay attention. I'm like, all right. He goes, you see what I'm doing? I'm like, yes, I'm paying attention. And, my dad was abusive, so you paid attention,
yes.
So I'm like, I was paying attention. So we get to the junior high. He turns around in the parking lot, and he goes, all right, I'm walking back. I'm like, excuse me? He goes, drive yourself back to the shop.
You were 14?
Yeah. And he's
Holy crap.
And he goes, I'll see you when you get back.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, Dad! He's like, it's a straight shot. You can't mess it up. And I was like, oh my God. So I practiced a little bit in the parking lot. And then I went. Now my sister was with me, Stephanie.
Oh, that sounds safe.
Yes. And because, so I wasn't completely unaccompanied. I was with my 12-year-old sister. So we're in this truck. Now the hill, if you're not comfortable with the stick shift, you have to downshift to go uphill, which I of course did not know. It took me an hour to get up that hill. I was panicked because I kept stalling, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I ultimately flooded the thing, but
you got
2 hours later, I rolled into the shop. Furious.
I bet.
Furious. And he's laughing,
of course.
He's like, hey, what happened? I thought something happened to you. I was about ready to call the cops. And I'm like, well, you probably should have, but I didn't hit anything, and here I am. And he's like, and that was my first lesson. That was my first lesson. Wow. And it never, that's how you learn. That's how my dad taught. And, I was somebody who learned how to steer long before that. And in high school, we had the simulators.
Oh.
So you sit in these little simulators.
Fancy.
And you have, exactly. And you have the big screen and you're driving, and every time you make a mistake, there's a little hole punch, and then the teacher can see how well or if you did it at all, if you just kind of let it swerve or whatever. And
if you crashed, did somebody hit you in the face with a
pillow?
I
remember for me, it was a very important thing to have no mistakes.
Yeah.
But that was like that in all of my classes. And the first time I did it, it was, of course, all the driving teachers are male. There's no female driving teachers. And so the first time they're like, man, I don't know if you should even be in the simulator. Like, you're not going to make it. I'm like, what? He's like, terrible. terrible. And I was like, oh my God. He's like, is your seatbelt even on in this thing? He's like, you need to have it on. So I was like, all right, that's it. I can't have this. And so I did ultimately improve. And then we had the cars that had the 2 steering wheels.
Yep.
And so
the guy I paid to do it had that too,
yes.
but we didn't have that at
So
school.
the wrestling coach, the varsity wrestling coach, was the driver's ed instructor.
Of course he was.
And he was by far the best driving teacher I've ever had in my life. He's the reason why I'm so good at teaching the kids how to drive.
Right.
He was amazing. And he gave 0 fucks about you if you were crying or whatever. You know, he made me go from Casa all the way to where we live today, all the way down to the school district's parking lot to get gas.
I was going to say, didn't he make you
in the
stop
car?
to get gas?
And I'm like, do you know my father? Why am I having to do this? I'm the one. There were 3 kids in behind me and me driving, and he's sitting next to me with this big ass clipboard covering up the mirror.
Yep.
Goes, what color's the car behind you? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you always must know. You must always know what color the car is behind you.
Yes, because that matters.
And you must always find a way out of every situation. You should always have an escape. You should never be trapped.
That's good advice, actually.
And to this day.
Yeah.
And in fact, I get more anxiety being in LA when there's no way out. I'm like, okay, who am I driving over to get out of here? Because I will absolutely do it because the coach said I had to.
Right.
But anyway, that is how. And then, of course, I passed with flying colors on my 16th birthday.
Nice.
But I got taken 12 points off the total because of speeding.
You sped on your driver's test?
Multiple times.
Wow.
And he's like, I'm going to pass you, but you must slow down. And I never have since.
You have not.
So anyway, yeah.
That's funny.
I know.
Funny. I don't, it all came back to me as we were talking about it, just that it was very surreal how I can see the guy in my head. I can remember him doing but like, this is just this one moment. It was like, what did you have to do? Like 20 hours or something like that? I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was more than that.
I actually did one ride with him all the way there and back. And then he's like, just make sure you ride, because I had my permit by then. He's like, just make sure you ride with your parents, blah, blah, blah. I had to do
like 2 hour-long lessons a week for like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. It was not
crazy.
Yeah,
it's not
because
like
we didn't have simulators. We didn't have any of that stuff. So.
Please, when I was at Casa, there were gun racks in the parking lot.
Is that a gun rack?
There was several gun racks with guns in them.
Yeah, but
it was not like it is today.
Did you have a shooting range on campus?
No, but we definitely had a gun club, and there was definitely, FFA was huge.
Yeah. I was in
FAA.
I was in the hood, and we had a shooting range.
Well, you kind of need to know that in the hood. All right. Anyway. Well, anyway, I think that's enough bantering. Let's do some Ugly and awkward moments of the week. I have a couple.
I don't have to have one, right?
No, these are Uglies.
Okay, good.
To remind all of you that we would love some of your awkward moments, listeners. It has been a while since I have requested some because we've had such a treasure trove.
Right.
But I'm running low. I need some. Now, many of you saw my social media posts and immediately submitted your awkward moments. Thank you so much, but I need more. I want more. So please submit to any of our social media pages. We're fully available.
Yeah, you can do uglytruth.com/dearuggs.
Yeah.
You can, and there's a little email form you can do, or just hit us up on the messaging on any of the social media channels, which again are also the little pink buttons on the website, uglytruth.com. If you don't have those saved, you can just click on those and find us anywhere on social.
So this week we're doing Too Old to Be This Naive edition.
Okay.
So here's some good examples of some really funny awkward moments.
Okay.
For example, like the awkward moment I had right before we started when
you were looking for your glasses.
I was angry because I couldn't find my goddamn glasses and they were on my face.
Not just on your face, you were actually
I was actually wearing them, yes. I'm looking for my glasses with my glasses.
With your glasses on, yeah.
Solid. All right, so I have 3, and they're all very funny. The first one, a lot of people have heard, but I immediately thought of us when I saw this because I'm like, this is definitely something that would happen to me because it's happened to me before.
Of course.
Not to this extent.
It's funny how often that's the case when you have ugly and awkward moments. It's like, okay, what's make this really funny? This has happened to me, or it's happened to us.
Exactly.
Because we're the kings and queens.
This is about the girl. Her name is Kaylee, and she had a beautiful succulent that she was so proud of for 2 years.
Oh, God.
And many of you have heard this story, but I'm reading it anyway. It says, I was so proud of this plant. It was full, beautiful, coloring, just an overall perfect plant. I had it up in my kitchen window. I had a watering plan for it. If someone else tried to water my succulent, I would get defensive because I just wanted to keep good care of it. Only me. I loved my succulent. Today, I decided it was time to transplant. I found the cutest vase that suited it perfectly. I go to pull it from the original plastic container it was purchased with to learn that the plant is fake. I put so much love into this plant. I washed its leaves. I tried my hardest to keep it looking its best, and it's totally plastic. How did I not know this? I pull it from the container, and it's in styrofoam with sand glued to the top. I feel like these last 2 years have been a lie. That is something. Do you know how many times I go to like our salon, and First of all, can I tell you how much I resent the fact that it's our salon? But walk up to the orchids and go, are these real? And I'll immediately start touching them because I just can't believe that they're so real because they're just so big and beautiful. But so this would happen to me.
We can't ever split because Neil would just have to choose between us.
Neil would choose me.
Yeah, probably. Because you're
way more money.
More expensive than I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can go to Shangri-La with him whenever you want, but
fair.
I'm not giving up the salon. So,
fair.
All right, here's the next one. And this one, maybe you can relate. I doubt it, but here we go.
Maybe.
My friend was making fun of circumcised people once. My friend was making fun of circumcised people
all those
once.
Circumcised women that are out there.
And that's when I told him I was circumcised. He then found out at that point that he too is circumcised. He didn't know.
He didn't know what it was.
He didn't know what circumcised was.
Fucking moron.
When did you figure out that you were circumcised? Locker room?
No, we didn't have any of that.
Have you ever seen a guy who wasn't circumcised?
Yes.
Does it look like a bagel dog?
It just looks.
I've never seen a uncircumcised.
Looks like a. What was that? Looks like a bug under a microscope, bug? Like a caterpillar under a microscope. If you were to look really close, it just kind of goes like that. It kind of looks like that. I mean, obviously not tiny necessarily, but it just the skin goes over the top.
That is so
it's just
crazy.
Weird. Yeah, it's weird.
I kind of want to see one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine it's that hard. We have the interwebs.
I know, but I want to see a real one.
Okay.
That's never going to happen, I guess. Never.
Yeah. I hope not.
No.
I can't go back.
Go back!
I can't go back.
Okay, and finally, I gave an entire speech to my class when I was in 8th grade about how I wanted to be a marine biologist and work with marine orgasms. Everyone was laughing, and I didn't know why. The teacher didn't say anything, just laughed along as well. A girl I had just made friends with had to fill me in after class. Turns out, organisms and orgasms are definitely not the same thing.
They are definitely not.
So there you go.
Those are good.
Too naive to be, or too awkward.
And
too old to be naive.
Those were all older people. They should have known better, basically.
Well, yeah.
For how old? Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
I might give the 8th grader a pass, but no, I don't think so. That's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I agree.
I did read one about a woman who thought that she had her period and peed out of the same hole. And so that her sister did, and every time she peed, she pulled out her tampon to pee, not realizing that there are 2 holes down there.
Right.
And I'm like, that is sad.
Wow.
This is why we have to talk to our children. You have to do it.
Yeah. What's that book? Read again.
Read the book we got you. Yeah, but just speak to your children, please.
Please. You know what? Actually, that dawns on me is that I never had to make that decision. Because I only had girls. I mean, I know we have Tyler, but you had already had Tyler.
Oh, the sex talk?
Yeah, no, not the sex talk, the circumcision talk.
Oh, yeah. Tyler, that was done far before I even knew you existed on this planet.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. But I never had to make that.
No. Although, here's interesting. All of our children say they will not circumcise their children.
What?
No. They think it's torture and cruel. I've raised hippies.
It's also health related.
I don't know. Well, I mean, on one hand,
just a myth?
On one hand, I understand if you have it, why would you eliminate it? So I get it. Like, why does it have to be eliminated if you're born with it, right?
Yeah.
But they are just like, absolutely not. I will not subject my child to that torture. I'm just like, but you will not convince me otherwise. And I'm like, fine, God damn it, hippie, okay. But you know what? It's everybody's, you can do whatever you want. I mean, I'm sure there are men out there that are perfectly fine with their uncircumcised penis, but I don't know any.
I would assume so.
I was quite a whore in my 20s, and I've never seen an uncircumcised penis.
It was back in the day, though. That was really unusual.
To not?
Yeah. At least where
like
I'm
the opposite?
From. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unusual.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
You don't want to be a whore in your 40s?
Oh, God, that sounds horrible. Sounds awful. No.
You've only got a few months, so.
I'm going to slap you right now, like real hard. Anyway.
Aren't you proud of me that I tried to come up and save you from the spider in the middle of your show? I'm actually more proud of you that you defended yourself.
I had no choice.
It sounded really funny on the show.
It did. All right. Well, I think that's all. Let me see. Pretty short.
Let me see. But you took your glasses off to see, so you can't really see.
It's pretty short.
Well, you reserve topics, and I apparently I don't banter, so.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I think I've had you endure me long enough. Paula will be back for the Sunday episode, and we will chat a little bit about whatever's going on. I know that she wants to talk about the coronavirus. She
Why?
does not. No, she doesn't.
5 shows in a row.
First of all, it's going to consume this world. We have to be prepared. Buy your toilet paper, everybody.
Oh my God, wash your hands.
Just wash your hands. I am a bit concerned about our trip to Nashville, but it's a farther out, so we don't really have to think about it right now. But you and I are going to Nashville next month. I hope.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're supposed to see Dave Chappelle.
And Joe Rogan.
Another thing I'm a little concerned about being canceled. I'm hopeful that it doesn't, so we will see.
Man, a lot of stuff has been moved and canceled. Zach Brown canceled their tour. Pearl Jam canceled their tour.
Yeah.
Coachella and Stagecoach moved. I'm seeing on the business side, I'm seeing all these conferences are getting canceled or moved. It's
interesting.
Insane.
Tonight, I was gaming tonight, and a lot of the people I work with are in tech. And they've all been required to work from home.
Yeah, so in fact, I talked to somebody.
They're all in Silicon Valley.
I talked to somebody from our San Francisco office today, and they drive from Marin, which that's across the Golden Gate Bridge. That's a very heavy commute because you have to go. Plus, we're on the other side. You have to go all the way through the city. And they were like, never got to work this fast in my life because no Google, no Facebook, no Amazon, no Twitter, nobody's driving into work. And on top of that, most of those people don't drive anyway. They take, because the Googles of the world, they have their own buses.
Right.
Like all those big tech companies, they pick people up and bring them in by the busload. None of those are running. And so it was like literally the lightest traffic day you've seen in years in San Francisco.
I kind of want to take advantage and go to Hawaii.
Like the flights are so cheap.
I
so
just
actually,
can't
that's
even
a
with
funny,
how cheap it is.
I told you this story, but it's an awful joke. But when I was getting my hair cut at our salon, I was getting my hair cut, and Neil was telling a client of his, he had told me this story, but he was telling a client of his that, man, you can go to Hawaii for like $99. The flight's like $99. And she's like, you can go to China for $5.
Okay.
So get right on that. So anyway.
Well, what's $99 though? Like, what are we talking? Hawaiian Air?
Yeah.
First class?
No.
Well, if it's
first, not.
Is first class like $199?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Because if it is, I'm on the flight. I'm going. I will go. Oh my God.
Yeah. So we'll have to look.
We're getting coronavirus in Hawaii, y'all. If we drink enough rum, it won't even matter, right?
I would think so.
All right. Well, that's all I have for today. What about you?
Yeah, that's it for me too.
Okay.
Buy some stuff. Thanks. Go to uglytruth.com/shop. See, Paula, that's how you do a close.
No one's going to know.
She's not going to know. She doesn't listen to the show.
Thank you for listening to this hot mess of a show. Thank you, Producer Deb, for sitting in for our sick.
We're married too, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that. I'm not just a producer.
I'm not just a producer. I am a producer in real life, too.
In real life. All right. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.